It's the Cinema 9 podcast. That's Travis Roy. That's Eric Bransham. And I'm Michael Govier. We bring you top-notch audio, first-class video, and elite coverage of all things film, cinema, movies, etc. Welcome to the show. We're excited to be here. We're going to talk about Sexy Beast. Does it hold up or not? 2000 film selected by Travis Roy. A classic amongst many of our friends, as he mentioned last time.
Go Tigers.
No, that is not what I meant to press. Sorry, Travis.
Friday, the Grosvenor, you'll be there.
There you go.
Thursday, the Cinema 9 podcast.
Don't you show me up?
No, I won't be there.
You will, you Mr. Roundtree.
Be Mr. Roundtree?
No,
Yes, Roundtree. Yes, Grosvenor.
no, Don.
Friday.
I won't be there.
You will.
No, Don.
Yes.
It's a lot of yeses.
So persuasive.
Very persuasive. We'll talk about Don Logan and Sexy Beast. And, of course, you can email the show, cinemanipod@protonmail.com. Travis, welcome to the show. Good to see you. You sound good. You look reasonably comfortable.
I am. I'm not roasting or broiling. I'm lounging in this banana hammock, this yellow banana hammock. Those of you that are watching, you can see that I'm, covered in a glistening sheen of hot sweat. Good.
Are you sweltering?
I was thinking,
like skin like leather, man, like leather.
Look at you. Yeah. I was actually thinking of all of us putting on that yellow banana hammock when I was watching the movie. I'm like, we should do a shot, a photo of all three of us wearing that thing with nothing else. I think it would be it'd be embarrassing for us, but it'd be very memorable.
Sounds like a picture perfect for audio.
Yeah, I guess so. Eric, Griffith, Indiana. What's the latest there? It's February now, and the kids are still in school. Is it winter break?
No, but I did enjoy a nice day off. We did e-learning today because of the winter storm that's ravaging the beautiful Northwest Indiana area.
Hitting here too.
Is this real now? I don't know. It's confusing. I got a weather update yesterday. It said flood watch, winter storm warning, like all these different conflicting.
Have you not looked out your window today?
Look out! It looks like hot out here at my house.
It was very warm.
It was very warm earlier, but it's very quickly the last few hours become a winter wonderland yet again. So
I was just confused by that weather statement when I looked at my phone. We got a flood watch with a winter storm. That's usually, a winter storm means it's cold, so a flood watch would seem odd. If anything, there'd be an ice chaos galore, but nobody cares about the weather. Fuck all that. We got the Academy Awards. They're getting fired up. Somebody was pissed this week in the text thread. What was exactly the bugaboo there? Because I feel like you guys were upset about something there.
If you weren't paying attention, I wasn't paying attention. I have no idea what you're alluding to.
I believe he's talking about the much discussed controversial idea of a popular movie award at the Oscars.
The Oscars So Twitter thing. It's literally like you vote with a hashtag. Any account can vote up to 20 times, but of course any person can open as many accounts as they want. And that's how you vote for this new category for most Twittered movie. No. Thank you, Don. That sums it up perfectly.
Ben Kingsley reporting from London his thoughts on this most popular
Live from
film.
the Grosvenor.
It's so dumb. It's just so dumb. It's shameless. It's shameless and going to be grossly inaccurate. Like what are they trying to prove here?
Desperation.
It's a ratings. Yeah, it's ratings bait. I mean, they want Spider-Man No Way Home to win an Oscar so they can get kids to watch the Oscars. So they're going to give it an Oscar, and it's going to be the MTV fucking Movie Awards.
You want kids to watch the Oscars? Throw some money and have Zendaya and Tom Holland host it. Bingo, bango, you're done.
Yeah, that's it. Instead, we got Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and I think Regina Hall.
Is that what's happening? I didn't hear that.
Regina Hall, Regina King. I screwed them up sometime. My bad.
I don't know.
Amy Schumer, where's she been? I mean, she's been gone.
She was, I think she had a kid, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like she took a deliberate step back for a while.
Also, I also feel that maybe they did offer money to people like Tom Holland and Zendaya, and they're like, we're not doing this. This thing sucks now. It's also very plausible. There's a lot of people that, find the Oscars to be droll and bland, and I think it's always been a fascinating watch. I've always enjoyed it when I was growing up, but last 10 years or so, I've certainly lost a lot of interest in it. I really have.
And a lot of people have. I mean, the viewership has plummeted, but I don't think that, tap dancing and, jazz handing their way out of it is going to do it. I think that like sticking to like accepting the fact that traditions ebb and flow in terms of popularity and just being a constant institution would have been their better bet rather than trying to desperately cling to some sort of, cultural relevancy.
Yeah, I agree. And part of me that like the hypocrite in me does kind of remind me and whisper in my ear that like Shirley Temple got like an Oscar just for being like a cute kid, like in her introduction. And like they used to give out these really weird Oscars for these really odd reasons. So
Michael Govier's favorite film at 12 years old was Citizen Kane.
That was last year.
Michael
I really
Govier.
was. Yeah, that was.
Michael Govier's favorite film at 12 years old was Citizen Kane.
Reese Witherspoon saying your name. I want to jump to the defense of Shirley Temple, though. She was one of the hardest working people in Hollywood that, really helped bring America some joy in a really rough time. So maybe they threw her a little something extra, but that young girl she turned out to be a right winger, but as a child, I got a lot of sympathy for her.
Fair enough. That's a good point.
You're talking about the Shirley Temple Black that was like in charge of like the U.S. Embassy or something. Like, what did she do later in life? She had some highfalutin.
I mean, she wasn't. I don't think
noble.
I don't think she was. No. I'm not saying that she was like a bad person or anything. I just think that she ended up getting into politics and that kind of stuff. I think she had some anti-communist tinge to her, though, as I recall. But don't quote me on that. At any rate, and as a child, she, I'm fine with her having honorary Oscar 75 years ago or whatever, I guess is what I'm saying. Arguing for no reason here.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, at any rate, we wish you best. Her drink is very high in sugar, I've heard. So Shirley Temple, you may think it's fun, but it can catch up with you apparently.
Wow.
All right, so the Oscars will be happening. That'll be exciting. Maybe there's movies I still have to see that are in the Best Picture category that I'm really going to try to get done.
Licorice pizza, perhaps?
Licorice pizza, maybe? We got a big update here tonight?
Do it,
Mike.
Do it.
I will, Don. I will.
Do the job.
Yes, you will. You'll be the
I
IMC.
need Don Logan in my life to make me go see Licorice Pizza. I guarantee if he showed up,
no one
I would
needs
see
Don
Licorice
Logan in their life. No one needs that. No one wants that.
I texted you about this Chippendales Rescue Rangers movie, which I couldn't believe. I just stumbled upon it on Twitter the other day, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? What? Oh my God, this is real. It's John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. It's the Chippendales Rescue Rangers cartoon, but it's live action with also like a digitalized update of one half of the crew. It's really wild. I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it.
I mean, I keep on thinking of Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Right.
And if they do movies like this right, they can do them really right. So, I'm not going to maybe run to theaters to see this, but I'm definitely going to watch the Rescue Rangers movie. Lonely Island's involved is probably going to be okay, at least.
Yeah, that's what's so bizarre. Disney and Lonely Island together. I couldn't believe it when I saw the words on screen and this thing coming together. It just seemed like something Disney wouldn't do, but it's not the Disney we know anymore now because they're such a conglomerate as well. They have so many fingers, so many pies. It's out of control.
What was the name of their production company that they started? Buena Vista for another stakeout. I mean, they've been doing that kind of stuff for a while. Yeah, they'll appeal towards all audiences.
That's fair. That's a good point. I just thought it was wild, and I like to see things like that surprise me. Like, oh, cool, that's being made. It's different, and it makes me feel like that'll open the door for other things because we do live in a time where some people say, a lot of the movies that we used to get, certain movies aren't made anymore, right? There's certain folks, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but a certain type of movie we don't see, and this is not exactly one of them, but it's good to know that it exists. It makes me happy.
I mean, it looks different. Like, it literally has Roger Rabbit in it. So they're paying homage to Roger Rabbit, and yet at the same time, they're like totally like ragging on Robert Zemeckis, who was like the king of the like Uncanny Valley weird looking CGI people in the 2000s. So I don't know. I love this meta shit. It looks funny to me.
Polar Express.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, that might have been what it was. It really sucked me in with the Roger Rabbit brief cameo there. I was like, oh my God, all right, I'm gonna watch this. I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
What about Elvis though, dude? You're our go-to Elvis expert here on the show, and the trailer dropped today for Baz Luhrmann's Elvis.
That's right. I've been waiting a long, long time for this. And I'm disappointed by the trailer. I like Austin Butler, and clearly I love Tom Hanks, but like this like put any actor into Rick Baker makeup and make them look like big, and it's like, what are you doing? There's plenty of actors that are like older and bigger that could do this role, and like we got like Rick Baker makeup on Hanks playing Colonel Parker for one thing, and then for two, like this isn't the Baz looking like the Baz Luhrmann that I know and love. Like, where's all the like razzmatazz and like insane shots and like all the wildness that I personally enjoy? I like The Great Gatsby. I like Romeo and Juliet. I like all that stuff.
I thought the trailer looked very Gatsby-esque.
Well, I'm suddenly intrigued. I might actually watch this movie. I find Baz Luhrmann's movies fucking unbearable. I can't bring myself to sit through that. So I'm ready for an Elvis movie. I just, when I saw Luhrmann's name attached, I was like, well, fuck that. But now
go back and watch the Jonathan Rhys Meyers Elvis made for TV 2-parter, or John Carpenter's Elvis from '79, which is fucking awesome.
That's what I really need to see. It's kind of hard to get your hands on.
It's hard to find, yeah.
I thought there was a lot of Gatsby-esque stuff in the trailer, so that's just me though. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of his either. So. But Elvis in a movie about Elvis, we're definitely due for one, and it's definitely time. So I'm probably gonna watch it no matter what.
I did like Moulin Rouge. I mean, I guess he has the right. He has moments.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. All right, well, let's head on over to Quarantine Viewing Picks. Travis Roy has control of the board here on Thursday, February 17th at 7:38 p.m. Eastern.
I didn't watch a lot of movies this week. I had a busy week with other things, so I didn't get too much done. I wrote a review for the movie I Want You Back, my first film that I watched that came out in 2022. I put that review up on Instagram, which we do still use, not as much as we used to, but you can follow us there for the occasional review. I gotta say, Charlie Day and Jenny Slate, I mean, what a team up. If you like them, you're gonna like this romantic comedy. I thought it was really funny, and it kept me pretty, I wasn't on my phone. I was pretty zeroed in for the majority of the film. I was into it. For the first time, I finally watched Star Trek Beyond. I really didn't care for Into Darkness that much. I know a lot of people did, but I just wasn't that into it. So I held off on Beyond, but I ended up really liking it. I thought it was great. It was, well, not great, but it was good. It was definitely good. And I'm excited for another chapter supposedly coming next year.
What?
According to IMDb, Star Trek 4 is slated for 2023. We'll see if that actually takes place.
No Anton Yelkin, though.
Well, no. And I wish he'd been a bigger part of Beyond. And I don't know that if this number 4 will have Quentin Tarantino's involvement or not, if that's what we're talking about, but we'll see.
Wow. It was written by Simon Pegg too, I believe, wasn't it?
From Beyond was, I think, co-written by him. Yeah.
Or he was heavily involved.
Yeah. Which made sense when I saw that he wrote it. I'm like, oh, that's why Scotty had a little bit bigger role in this movie.
Guys, do you know what this is, by the way? Sorry to interrupt your segment.
What?
Nope. I have not seen this trailer.
Peele.
Yeah, Nope is the new Jordan Peele movie. The trailer dropped this weekend, but I don't watch trailers for movies that I want to see. So, did you watch it, Eric?
No spoilers. It looks fucking awesome. They don't give too much away at all. It's just all mystery and classic Jordan Peele motif going on here. There's some social aspects. There's some Twilight Zone shit. Looks fucking awesome. Can't wait.
All I need to know is that Jordan Peele directed it and the name of it, so I know what theater to walk into.
I'll just give you two more things: Daniel Kaluuya and Stephen Wen. So,
that's I did see a picture of Stephen Yen and like the cowboy kind of get up. That is it. But I'm stoked. I'm stoked for Nope, and I think I think Peele is really good at naming movies. He's got kind of a Mary Roach approach to it. I watched the newest. I mean, how hard must Steven Soderbergh work? This guy must be such a workaholic. I mean, what is he churning out, like 20 movies a year or something? It's ridiculous. But I checked out. Yes. I checked out Kimmy, his made for HBO Max film.
Oh,
I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Heavy Rear Window vibes.
I didn't know it was him. Damn
yeah,
it.
It's him.
I almost clicked on it, and then I was like, I don't feel like doing this. But I didn't know it was Soderbergh. I absolutely would have clicked on it.
It's Soderbergh. It's an updated rear window with very, very current feeling movie. A terrifying look at like tech and privacy and that kind of stuff. A bit of a slow burn, but it's a great lesson of how to make a 90-minute film where you're just you're starting off kind of slow and like, what's going on? And it just ratchets up the stakes over and over and over again. The last 4 seconds is some of the worst, like one of the worst endings I've ever seen. Like the last 4 seconds of the film, like, why would you fucking choose this? But other than that, I really, really love this movie. I think everyone should watch Kimmy if you want like a nice night in kind of adventure kind of film. Our buddy Matt Wilson chiming in with, I just froze my ass off to plow my driveway to rush in and watch this. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Welcome, brother.
Well done,
Travis. Soderbergh didn't put that fucking lens on this one, did he? Like he did in that last one.
No.
I couldn't tell because Zoe Kravitz's blue hair was so distracting. But I really think that Zoe Kravitz is going to do a lot more leading work, and I think she was really good in this. She plays kind of a difficult character in a way. I could see where some people might not connect with her, but I found her, like, I was really into this character and really concerned for her and like invested in the movie. So I and again, it's only 90 minutes long. I definitely recommend Kimmy. Eric, you didn't much care for Antlers. That's correct? Scott Cooper's in the film. I wouldn't agree that it sucked, but I understand. I think some of the reasons why you wouldn't have liked it. I mean, not a ton of surprises here, for instance. I do think that Jesse Plemons, who was nominated for Power of the Dog, was as good or better in Antlers. I mean, he had more to do, at least in Antlers. But again, I'm baffled, and I already said that last episode that I'm baffled by his nomination. But I did enjoy Antlers overall. A bit of a rough watch. I mean, the subject matter, definitely some, some uncomfortable and triggering kind of heavy shit, but worth seeing to me. I thought it was worth checking out, but I could see where it wouldn't be for everybody. Last but not least, other than Sexy Beast, I finished the season finale of Peacemaker today. I just fucking loved Peacemaker so much. It was just a hot and heavy 7 episodes that just warmed my soul and made me laugh, and
that's awesome.
Strongly recommend Peacemaker. You do have to watch Suicide Squad first, I think. The Suicide Squad from 2021. But really, really enjoyed that. So that would be my main recommendation of late. What about you, Eric? What have you been watching?
Chop! Jesus, God. Lord almighty. He's like the Tony Robbins of like gangsters. He's like, I watched a lot, man. I went from really lowbrow popcorn trash to high art sophistication. So I'll do the lowbrow stuff first. Good Burger.
Oh, okay.
Pretty funny. Yeah, Sinbad actually made me laugh a few times. Kenan Thompson, yeah, laughed out loud a few times. Silly, dumb, funny. I don't know. I enjoyed myself.
All right.
Okay. You know how I feel about Billy Crystal. Like I've never cared for Billy Crystal. City Slickers didn't laugh.
Doesn't like that. Not cool.
Don't
understand. Met Sally didn't laugh. I'm not a fan.
What?
So you watched what? You watched the Crystal movie?
Until tonight. Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh, for the first time. Finally, you watched Throw Mama from the Train, and you liked it.
It was hilarious. I loved it. Yeah, it was laugh out loud funny. Like Danny DeVito, like really good dramatic performance.
Yeah. Owen loves his mama.
He's trying to kill me. Like fucking
Aaron, you clumsy poops.
So stupid.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
Yeah. Dude, Danny DeVito, like, I know he directed this superbly and at the Smoochie. Did he do Other People's Money, War of the Roses? Like,
I believe those were both him. Yeah. He seems to have stopped, with direction. Jack the Bear was him too, I believe.
Yeah, Jack the Bear. Hilarious, man. A remake of Strangers from the Train, one of my favorite Hitchcock movies, but superbly updated. Loved it. Oh, yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah. Glad you liked it.
Okay. I'm sorry, Travis.
I forgive you.
From this year, The Requiem. We got a shark horror starring Alicia Silverstone, who I would watch do laundry for 8 hours. I was pumped when I saw this pop up on like still in theaters on Comcast. I'm like, I'm paying $8, man. We got sharks and Alicia Silverstone. What would take my money? It was horrible. It was so bad, dude. And I'm very forgiving of like shark horror movies. I forgave Deep Blue Sea. I forgave Open Water. I forgave
Open Water was okay.
What's that one? Damn it. There was one shit. I just yeah. The Shallows with what's her
In
name?
the shallow,
Ryan Reynolds' wife.
Her name? Yeah, Ryan Reynolds' wife.
I'm blanking on
She
her
was
name.
good in it.
Blake Lively.
Blake Lively. Yeah. I liked her in the movie. Yeah, awful. Just embarrassing. There's a few times I had to turn away from the screen. I was so embarrassed. The shark, like, I get it. You got a low budget, but the shark looked worse than like Bruce from Finding Nemo. It looked looked worse than those sharks in like Shark Tank, like the opening credit sequence. It was horrible. It looked worse than Will Smith in Shark Tale. It was bad.
Wow.
Like it took you right out of the movie. Yeah, can't recommend it. So okay, I'm always on the lookout for new Mickey Rourke movies. Like I'm still waiting for him to come back just one more time. The legend, please return. So I keep checking in. I watch the previews to his upcoming movies. So I watched the preview to this movie War Hunt, and I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, oh shit! The plot is, it looked cool. It's about this battalion of soldiers in World War II who happen across a coven of evil witches. So I'm like, Christ, this looks pretty good. So I stopped watching the preview, and it turns out I actually rented it on accident. So I'm at this crossroads, like, do I call Comcast and like argue about this like $7, or I sit here and watch it? I watched it, and it was fucking solid. Like I dug it. It was genuinely creepy, and it was shot well. And like, I'm not saying Mickey Rourke is back, but the movie itself was cool. Like the witches and stuff were awesome. So
What'd you say?
You happen upon War Hunt. Check it out. Don't pay $8 for it, but it was not trash.
Don't pay $8. Okay.
Does he play like a soldier in this movie?
He plays like the guy that like just sits there with an eye patch and like explains stuff that's going on. But the soldiers were interesting, and the witches looked cool. Yeah.
All right.
So that's that. Friedkin Uncut. This is the second William Friedkin documentary I've watched in 2 years. Like, he's back in another documentary about his life. The legendary egomaniac and directorial sadist returns to talk about his career. A good documentary, on more stuff unveiled that I never knew about him. So I can recommend Friedkin Uncut. Just incredible. Okay, The Lost Daughter, Travis. I know you didn't care for The Lost Daughter on Netflix. Nope. Olivia Colman. I watched it. I really liked it, man. I thought it was haunting, bizarre, and I was thinking about it for like a couple of days after I watched it. I'd never seen a movie like it. For me, I just dug the film, especially for like, you get a lot of this talk about like how there's no roles for like older women. I thought this character played by Olivia Colman was just so complex and interesting and bizarre. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I dug it, man.
There's clearly roles for older women. They're just all going to Olivia Colman over and over and over again.
That may be true. And I love Jessie Buckley. She was fucking fantastic in this. I dug the film.
I wouldn't argue that it wasn't a good performance, and I wouldn't argue there wasn't unique things happening here, particularly in terms of theme. Like and the like, but I just utterly fucking bored to tears. I couldn't have been less invested in anything, but I said that before. I'm glad you liked it.
Cool, man. Yeah, it may have caught me at a good time because I like started it at like 11 at night, and I just kind of like settled into its rhythms, and I really like the Grecian locations, and fucking Dakota Johnson somehow was good in it. Like, I never thought in a million years I'd say a good performance at her, but I liked her in it.
I think there might be good things coming from her. I thought she was good in it too.
Yeah. The Red Shoes, 1948, Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger. This is the movie that like Scorsese always talks about in every interview. The Red Shoes, the Red Shoes, the Red Shoes. Like, finally, like, I'll fucking watch it. It's about like ballet dancers. It's pretty boring, but it's some of the most beautiful cinematography I've ever seen in my entire life. So if you're studying film or color in film and art direction, this is a must. It's sublime. It's so gorgeous, but kind of boring. Finally, my top recommendation. I don't usually go this long. Spencer. I watched Spencer on Hulu.
I meant to. It was good.
I loved it. I loved it. It's fucking awesome, man. Like, I've been accusing Kristen Stewart of just like standing around in movies for a couple of years, and I used to really love her, but for last couple of years, just kind of standing around being beautiful. She's superb. She's so good in it. She's so restrained. Mm-hmm. And Pablo Larraín, the filmmaker, he did Jackie too, which I absolutely adored. He hits it out of the park again. It's like it's almost filmed like a horror captivity film, because you've got this person who doesn't belong in this environment is frustrated with her surroundings and her place in this dynamic of the royal family, and she cannot get out, and she just wants her kids to be happy. And it's filmed like a fucking thriller. I loved it. I'm telling you, man, it's one of the best movies I've seen in 2021. So fantastic.
It's on my list. Definitely will check it out now that it's on Hulu.
Cool, man.
Hulu. All right.
Do it.
We all should do it.
We
Thank you very much, Eric. We will do it. Don't worry. We'll be there. Yeah.
No.
All right, so I watch the movies. That's what we do. We talk about what we watched, and we recommend something if we can, if we're so lucky to be able to do so. Vegas Vacation. I went back and watched that Bozo Fest.
Wow, Michael.
I like watching it. I don't know. I know it's not good. I understand it's not a good film, but it's the last one, and I've already seen the other ones so many times. It's the one I've seen the least of, I guess. So to me, it's somewhat like, oh, I could maybe watch this and it seems somewhat fresh to me, even though it's not fresh at all, especially from Rotten Tomatoes perspective. But that's all right. Wallace Shawn is the annoying dealer. That's fun. Good job, Wallace Shawn.
I watched it a few months ago, Mike. It's the only one not written by John Hughes. I actually was chuckling a couple of times. I was unfair to it when it came out. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not a god-awful disaster. It's not. It's just such a legacy to live up to after what started the whole thing. So, yeah, I would check it out if you never saw it. Don't listen to what everybody says. A lot of Wayne Newton, though. If you don't like Wayne Newton, maybe don't see it.
Yeah, a lot of Duncan.
I watch Anger Management. Duncan.
Yes!
Oh,
yes!
Don
yes!
loves Duncan.
Yes!
I've been thinking a lot about this. So, yeah, Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson together. And I remember when there was the word that this movie, Anger Management, was going to happen, and that Adam Sandler at the time, as big as he could ever be, and Jack Nicholson, a legend in his time in 2003.
Yeah.
And I had such high expectations for this movie, but when I first saw it, it was such a piece of crap to me. I was so disappointed. And watched it the other day, and I was like, this is all right. But again, it just doesn't live up to the massive amount of expectations that were set forth when we heard that these guys were going to do a movie together. I mean, you expect just so many laughs, and it's just really cheesy and lame and too many poop and fart dick jokes.
In the Sandler film?
I like those jokes.
No. Don't say it.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson's in it. It's funny too.
Is it a better or worse team up? Is it a better or worse team up than with Al Pacino and Jack and Jill?
Oh, Cappuccino.
Oh, I think it's probably a better team up than that. Although you were surprised when you watched it last time, so
pleasantly so.
Matt wants to know, by the way, who rents something on accident?
E. Albert Benson.
I do.
That's your man right there.
Yeah,
there he is. Yeah, it's just disappointing. That's just a lot of disappointment with that film. But I watched it and I did laugh. John C. Reilly's in it too. Woody Harrelson, a lot of people that you can laugh at. So you'll find laughs. I watched a movie I never saw before, The Campaign. I never actually watched it. I almost clicked on it 100 times, it feels like.
Really?
And I finally knocked it out. Yeah. There's Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. Stop calling me, Luke. We're doing a show. We do the Cinema Night podcast every Thursday night. What an idiot. Sorry, I don't know if that's coming through on the screen.
It's not. I mean, it is because you're talking about it. But
Luke, if you want to comment about Werner Herzog, just go to our YouTube account and type it in.
Yeah, Luke, if you want to hit me up, come on here to live chat. Ask questions. But yeah, The Campaign is funny and 10 years old now. It'll be 10 years old this year, which is wild.
Man, that is wild.
That is wild because it was supposed to be like a fresh comedy, a political comedy. Will Ferrell doing what Will Ferrell does, and Zach Galifianakis, he has that alter ego he loves to bring out. He did it in his comedy special back in the day with was the Purple Onion? Was that comedy special?
Yeah, I think it was live at the Purple Onion. That sounds right.
Is that what that thing's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Jimmy, the first time I saw it, Jimmy had that DVD, and I never knew who Zach Galifianakis was until I saw that, and this was right before The Hangover blew up and
Classic.
all that.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's solid. It tries to give you a heart, and just don't even bother. Just stick with the laughs.
Oh yeah.
To the bitter end. It's a political movie, anyways. I will say that Dan Aykroyd and John Lithgow are an ideal coupling as the essentially the Koch
Koch
brothers.
brothers,
Is who
yeah.
they are. They're perfect. They nail it. So I will give them credit for that.
I thought Dylan McDermott fit right in too.
Oh yeah. When he showed up on screen and he fit right into that role as a slick ass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix the fixer. He was great in that role, no doubt about it. Matt wants to know who could replace Anthony Michael Hall as Rusty. You're right. Thank you for that.
Wasn't it
not Ethan Embry?
Oh, was it Ethan Embry that they had for that one?
Yeah, Vegas Vacation. Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry. Nick Papagiorgio. Come on. I do like Nick Papagiorgio. I will say that. And then what else I watched? I'm trying to see it through here. I can't see between my damn lights. I obviously wasn't that. I watched Clueless. Leanna never. She saw Clueless once, but we went back for a 90s flashback. It was fine. Clueless is what Clueless does. And that's pretty much it. I've been watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm trying to catch up on the last 2 seasons, which I had not seen. So I started back with season 9 to kind of give me a little bit of a refresher because I feel like I know everything else about the other seasons. So.
That was a big gap. Like, how long was that gap between the seasons? It was several years.
Well, so season 9 was done in 2017, but prior to that, it was a good 6 years almost. I want to say 2011-ish was the last season before that.
Right.
Roughly.
And we started watching the new season at the feast, and I got to admit, I kind of found myself being like, I kind of thought this has been done. Like, it seemed a little played out, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, well, I haven't got there yet. I'll let you know how I feel. I don't know how to be. I don't know if the last season has Super Dave in it or not. I know Super Dave passed away last year, so he's having Funkhauser in that show is a crucial aspect to me. I love his role.
Yeah,
did you see the Super Dave documentary?
No, I got to see that. That's on my list. I've heard really good things.
Yeah, I want to see that. And Larry David, I just learned today he's going to get his own 2-part documentary on his life, HBO documentary films. So
well, that's good. He's clearly hurting for money since he had to do that crypto commercial.
Yeah,
I know.
Good for him. I'm glad he's going to be pulled out of the hole. This poor broke bastard.
Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him do that, but I don't know. I guess he also
does.
seems like the coyote. Yeah, he seems like he'll do anything. Like he's just ready for whatever.
Do it.
And that's true. All right, so there it is. That's what we've been watching. You can always email us what you've been watching and share it with us, cinema9pod@protonmail.com, or DM us on whatever social media you prefer. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is continuing to grow thanks to Eric's efforts. Eric's been incredible with that. 3 cheers for you. Hip, hip, hooray! And, of course, 5-star rating, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Yes, they all have the ability for you to rate us there. Thank you.
Please.
Please and thank you. All right, let's do it. It's time to find out. Does it hold up? Let's go back to the year 2000 and fire up the old DVD machine.
Yes.
That's right. Who's roasting? Who's
rolling?
a lot of sunshine in this film, at least until it goes to London. But yes, it's Sexy Beast. This was chosen by Travis Roy. An excellent choice. This is a film I made no secrets about. I do enjoy. We all enjoy, or at least we used to enjoy it. But again, it fits into the mold, Travis. So I remember exactly when I saw this. Do you remember the first time you saw this film?
Oh God, no. I have zero recollection of when I first saw it. But let me think for a second. It came out in 2000. I would have been in Florida when it came out. I think I saw it in Florida. I think, because I'm pretty sure I saw it when it was new, and it was very quickly one of those movies that me and all of our friends just internalized and quoted the hell out of, and just decided we really, really liked. And when I moved back to Michigan, I think that everybody was already on board with watching it all the time, and it was one of those ones that we just watched ad nauseum. And then I haven't seen it, like I said last episode. As much as I held this movie in high esteem, I really have not watched it in probably 10 years or so. And eventually, we had talked about doing this early on the show, and eventually I'm like, I just want to watch this movie. I've been meaning to watch the movie. I better, but I had been holding off because of the show. So I'm like, well, I better make it the choice. So I was happy to watch it again.
There was a good 5-year stretch where every time I would see Guile, old friend of the show, he would just look. He wouldn't even say hi. He just walk right up to me and start going, "Yes, Grobda. Yes, Roundtree. You'll beat it." Like, okay, I get it. Sexy Beast, great movie. Jesus Christ, man.
Friday, the Grosvenor, you'll be there.
That's right. You better be there. All right, Eric. What about you?
I gotta tell you guys, man. Like, me and like British crime movies right around this time were not the best bedfellows. Like
no
Guy
snacks for
Ritchie
you.
burned me. Like I hate Long Stock and two Smoking Barrels. I hated Snatch. So like I wasn't really that interested in this movie. So I was like, all right, whatever. Ben Kingsley, let's check it out. I dug it. I haven't seen it since.
Oh,
I've only seen it.
You only watched it one time, and then walked around quoting it with us a bunch.
I mean,
well, I guess
I know the
we
quotes.
quoted you. I guess
I know the quotes, but like they became ingrained in like cinephile pop culture. But I only saw it that one time, and I was like, good movie. Didn't do that aside from like I remember thinking like aside from that like incredible performance, I've seen a lot of what was going on in that movie before. So I kind of stepped away, and I only saw that once, but I always have admired it for its place in pop culture history and all that.
Yeah, Jimmy was another friend of the show, as we mentioned earlier. He loved quoting this movie. He was also constantly doing that to me. He would come up to me and just Grosvenor me to death. That's for sure. But it's not the first time that I ever saw it. And actually, it goes back to, I got groved. He was not the person who exposed me to this film. It was actually the guy you mentioned earlier, Eric, Steve. Steve and I used to go over to our old friend, we call him Klopak, Andrew, and he had an apartment. I don't know how I ended up there. I ended up there like twice ever. He was kind of fading away from our friend group by then.
Basement apartment.
But we ended up in his. Yeah. Well, this one was on another level, but yeah, it was one of those buildings over there. So there could have been a couple of them, I'm sure. But yeah, it was over there on Packard, and they threw this movie on, and we got Anthony's Pizza, a gourmet deep dish, which is delicious, local Ann Arbor favorite. And we watched this film, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Why did you guys call him Klopak? I've never known this, and like that was as good a time as any.
Because he looked.
Is this a Birds reference?
Because he looked vaguely like what's his name, Corey.
Yes. Oh,
whatever
Courtney
from the
Gaines.
Burbs.
He looked like Hans.
He looked vaguely like Hans from Burbs, so we called him Klopak.
Okay, that solves it.
He was very pale, and he had that Norwegian.
Klopak.
We just thought it worked for us. He was very white.
We were weirdly cruel to this good friend of ours, so we gave him a nickname.
Oh, big time.
He was not crazy about the nickname. That was not an epithet he enjoyed.
Horrendous.
I might have been his first friend.
He deserved
a lot of mistakes.
In fifth grade, I remember meeting him at the Lakes Elementary School. I'll never forget his beautiful Boston Celtics jacket. So I may have known him before even you guys. So
yeah, someone may have seen someone's mom naked. I don't know. Just saying.
Yes, I did see his mother completely in the buff. That happened.
That's a rumor.
No, that was a reality.
Well, it's not a rumor. At any rate, they put it on, him and Guile, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And as soon as Ben Kingsley showed up on the screen, I was sucked in. I was like,
that
"What
big
is
bald
happening?"
head, man. Once that big bald head
Those
comes
ears.
in, and the music, you're like, "Oh, I'm fucking into this movie now."
It literally looks like a dick.
That's a good call. I didn't think about that. Well done. Well done. So yeah, that was in 2001 or 2, I would say. So probably after the fact it came on DVD. But I didn't look up the score on IMDb, and I wonder, what is the score?
I'm going to guess pretty high. I'm going to guess real high. I'm going to say 7.5.
Yeah, I'll guess 7.2.
I feel like I feel like that's more in line with what I was thinking, Eric. Yeah, I'm going to say like a 7, a solid 7. And the answer is 7.3. Okay, so we're on the ballpark there, that 7 to 7.5 range, although I didn't know how many people have seen this movie either. Yeah. It's not a movie that people I've run into in other realms of society talking about film have mentioned it to me. They really haven't. So
it's funny to me that Jonathan Glazer has done so little since, because this seemed like it was pretty well received. I didn't even hear of this second movie that he did. I think it's called Birth. I want to say I never even heard of it.
Birth is really good, man. Yeah.
And then Under the Skin was incredible. So, and then he's got one more movie in the pike that's mostly something about In the Zone or something that's called In the Zone or Out of the Zone, something like that. Right. But I mean, here it is, 22 years. The man's done 3 films. Bizarre.
I agree.
It really does get you thinking. Like, so Jonathan Glazer, he starts out music videos like a lot of these guys who were doing movies in the late 90s. Karma Police, man, Virtual Insanity. Are you kidding me? These are some of the classic 90s videos.
Yeah.
Massive Attack. He did a
Into
Massive
My
Attack
Arms, Nick
video.
Cave.
The Best of Blur, Radiohead.
All right.
Oh, good for him. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. You love them, Eric. Yeah, Travis, I remember looking up Glazer a few years ago and be like, oh man, I got to catch up on the rest of his stuff. And it just wasn't there really. I mean, Under the Skin is good, right? But that's it. Yeah. You're right. Very odd. Rotten Tomatoes wise, 87 for the critics and 85. Very tight score. Very even. Very balanced there. Luke's calling me for the third time. And as far as the critical reviews, I will share them with you. There's plenty of them. I'm hoping to get Destin on this one, but I feel like we've missed him the last couple.
Yeah. I missed Destin Thompson. Where is our boy?
Where are you, Destin? We need more of you in our life. David Anson of Newsweek said this: the talented Glazer keeps things crisp, clean, and purposeful. The only flab on this film is around the waist of its sybaritic hero.
That's rough, dude.
Oh, what's sybaritic?
I spell it.
Sybaritic. Sybaritic.
I don't know that one.
Stop me on that one.
Call Luke back. Damn. He'll know.
Oh, you're good with words. I thought maybe you knew that one.
I do know words, but I don't know that one.
A working class cook who has finally gotten a taste of the good life. And he doesn't want to lose it. So, okay, that's true. Yeah, he is a working class cook who got a taste of the good life and doesn't want to lose it. Fair enough.
Crook.
Yeah, but I don't know why he's a cook.
He's probably a crook, and that was a typo.
That makes sense. As soon as I said that out loud, I realized what I had done. Yes. Thank you. That's why you're here, to clarify.
I'm good for.
All right. Still not seeing Destin. No Destin, unfortunately.
Goody Kuntz is a myth.
Myth.
Goody Kuntz denied our friend request.
Myth of Bill Goody Kuntz.
How about this review? This is a stupid review. I'm going to read it. I don't think it deserves it, but I'm going to read Dennis Schwartz of Dennis Schwartz Movie Reviews. It simply says, discourages thinking, ...
I feel like that's so out of context. I can't judge that review because it's not even a review. It's just 2 words.
Yeah, it's fucking gibberish. It's stupid.
Yeah, if you're not
Susan
thinking
Granger,
about why the fuck a rabbit man would be walking up on gal on a horse, there's something wrong with you.
Oh my God, wait a minute.
Put it away.
Oh shit. No, it's like a serious emergency. Oh man. Can you guys take over for a second? I'm not kidding. Sorry.
Yeah. Looks like there's a legitimate emergency happening here. Hopefully nothing too terrible.
Yeah, maybe he's in a ditch or something. We're gonna hope for the best and keep kind of plodding along here, Travis.
Yeah.
So
let's keep it moving.
The thing about it is, like, I remember at the time a lot of people talking about it, especially because of Ben Kingsley, but when's the last time you heard it brought up in the same conversation as other like crime movies like Goodfellas and all that sort of stuff?
I think that speaking from a strictly obviously American perspective, I don't know that it has been incorporated into the crime genre and embraced as well as it could be or should have been. That it was nominated for Academy Award doesn't necessarily suggest much. I mean, the movie that he lost to, or he lost to Jim Broadbent for the movie Iris. Have you ever seen this movie?
Yeah, I looked at that too. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I've never seen it, but yeah. So I mean, that something's nominated or not doesn't necessarily suggest any sort of longevity or cultural embrace.
And that was a tough year because we had Ethan Hawke, Training Day, Ian McKellen, Fellowship of the Ring. So that was who's who. Yeah,
it was a good year, I guess, for Jim Broadbent. But so for me, this is not one that I can't speak to whether people talk about this movie because most people I talk movies with are my friends, and to most of my friends, this is like a legendary status kind of movie. So I can't really speak to it, but I will say that it has long lodged itself in my head. While I have not watched it for a long time, it certainly is one that has stuck with me as being a cultural touchstone.
Right, man. So we've got a first-time filmmaker here. I mean, this is Glazer's first movie, which is, I mean, right out of the gate, pretty impressive. And the way he starts it, like, he starts it with like this kind of cheeky, like we're gonna have some fun here. I'm gonna be doing like quirky stuff with the camera and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of draws you right in. But then like, the first hour, I think I paused it. The first hour is literally just trying to get this character, Gal, to do the job. And like when you watch these movies about like, hey, one last job, like come out of retirement. Usually that takes like 2 minutes. Somebody's got to leave their card. They think things over. Like, well, I'm getting in a fight with my girlfriend, so I might as well take the last job. But like,
oh yeah,
I'm not used to seeing a movie where that is literally the plot.
I would say this is a spiritual cousin to Reservoir Dogs, not just for being a first-time director, but the fact that the robbery itself is completely incidental. I mean, you at least see the robbery in this movie, and it actually is a really cool, unique like way of doing it, and it's so background to everything else that's happening. Like it's just like the bank is getting flooded and it doesn't really matter because you're really focused on the tension between Teddy and Gal. Mike, everything okay?
Yeah. Luke was having an emergency. It's okay for now, so sorry I had to do that, but I think he's okay. He's fine. So
okay, good.
Clear. So,
good. All right. So we were just this
issue.
Okay. Well, best to Luke, friend of ours.
Sure.
And we were just discussing the fact that Glazer was a first-time director and that the crime aspect of the film is it's very secondary. The robbery itself is secondary. It's really focused on the relationships and the tension between trying to get Gal to do something that he clearly doesn't want to do.
But it's really well done, though, in terms of those scenes. I know they're secondary, but the whole how did they film all that? Like
awesome.
Where did they find this place to film?
So they did. There is a underwater tank like studio that kind of devotes itself to like underwater shots in England that they went to do this at, and just everything like the bills floating around, man, the necklaces, like
the weird
that dude like stuffed like a fucking like tribal. Some sort
too
of
much in plastic
historical picture in it. He wants
too
that.
Too much money in plastic.
Taking that space. Come on.
I got annoyed with too much money in plastic because there would be water someday, or like, why would you put money in a plastic little mini bag like that? It's a tiny nitpicking thing, but I feel like they did it because the movie knew that there would be a flood here. It's stupid. I know, but it's pointless.
But going back to Glazer's direction, there's so much happening in terms of unique camera movements and the way it looks visually and the vibe that he sets. Like when that big circle, like or that big smoke heart, when Gal blows like a big heart and it kind of goes through Dee Dee, and then it cuts from that to this weird image of Dee Dee and Gal like clearly filmed underwater but flying in the sky. It's all very spacey and dreamy, and he can be really out there and creative like that. But the shot that really gets me in this movie is like the shot following Teddy Best through into the revolving door, and we see like the camera revolve, or the camera that's locked onto, again, Teddy Best's car door, and when he opens the car door, the camera moves with him and then it slams closed again. It's like not totally the most motivated shots, but at the same time they are totally motivated. You get exactly what is intended with this really creative shot. So it's not just like this dressing or this like this fanciful move to like, hey, signal I'm with this explosive new director. It's actually serves a function to the story, which you don't always get with energetic and exciting new directors.
Do it.
That's true.
Do it.
I want to go back real quickly because we did have a Destin Thompson review, so we got to get this in.
We absolutely must get that in.
Well, let me give you Roger Ebert's real quick. He said, I didn't know Kingsley had such notes inside of him. Obviously, he can play anyone. That's from Ebert.
Yeah, this was I mean, like, no one knew that he had this in him. I don't think.
Yeah. I think we're all feel the same way, Roger. And then Destin said, an engaging conflagration of British B-flick, Cockney wit, and gallows humor. 4 out of 5 stars.
Should have been 5, but all right.
Yeah, that's fine, Destin. We'll take. I mean,
take it.
I'd like to know what the 1-star takeaway is for you there, Destin. What was it? I don't know.
That was either a B movie, not an A movie, I guess.
Maybe that was it. So okay, so we got Destin on the record. Thank you, Destin, for that. Always good to have you aboard. But But yes, Ben Kingsley's performance is massive in this film. There's no way to deny it. Take him out of this movie. Take Don Logan out of this film. What do you have? You don't have this movie, obviously, but you could say that about a lot of movies. But
you've got a beautiful love story about a retired criminal who's just trying to enjoy his life. Ray Winstone, man, I'm telling you, man. Talk about Ben Kingsley all you want. And he's kind of I don't want to call him a cartoon, but he is kind of I'll say maybe an unbelievable character in this, whereas Ray Winstone is a relatable, just a tender person in this. I loved his performance, man. It's not showy, and he plays this like wonderful balance between like fear and gallantry that is really tricky to pull off, and he just does it superbly. I loved him in it, man. It's fantastic acting.
Chicken Fing, what chicken Fing? I'll have the calamari.
Thanks for thinking of me. Yeah, thinking of me.
Thanks for thinking of me. That's my favorite, actually. You're right.
Yeah, that one stuck with me too. But you're right. I thought a lot about this for the first time with this film, about how important it is to give Ray Winstone just as much credit. Again, I feel like we talk about this a few times recently, where we had characters that were lesser in terms of the showiness of the role. What did I talk about?
Rain Man. You talked about that recently.
Thank you. Exactly. That's exactly what it was. You had Dustin Hoffman, the showy character, but Tom Cruise keeps the movie together. He's the glue. And Ray Winstone is absolutely so centered and low-key and sticks to his guns and trying to politely tell Don. By the way, did he insinuate when he's at the restaurant before he hears the news that Don's coming that he spent 9 years in prison? Is that what he said when like he
I
was
think
talking
that's
about
the
9 years?
insinuation. Yeah.
Yeah.
For Don.
Yeah,
I hadn't caught that before.
It's after he hears that Don is coming, but he said like it's not a big deal. Like, there's no risk to this. When Jackie tells him there's no risk, he's like, no risk. I spent 9 years in prison. There's fucking risk. Easy for you to say. But
I never caught that before.
Yeah. It makes a difference to the plot. Like, this is someone that like was in his 20s, was he was in the early 30s. This is what he did, but then he served his time, and once he served his time, he's like, I'm out. I'm gonna find the woman I fooled around with like a decade ago and marry her and disappear. But for you guys, while you guys were focused in on Ray Winstone's performance instead of obviously Ben Kingsley, like he steals the show. But for me, I was really taken in by Ian McShane's performance this viewing. I always get, again, kind of distracted by Don Logan, but Teddy Best is so scary. Mr. Black Magic himself, he is so scary because Don Logan is a petulant child and you don't know what he's going to do. But like Teddy Best is so much more unpredictable and he's just fucking scary, and it makes sense to me. Yeah, exactly, and it makes sense that he blew up after this, because I mean I'd never saw him before this, but I haven't stopped seeing him and stuff since, because this what a role this was. He's so fucking cool in it.
God damn it! When he knows that gal's lying in the restaurant, but he says, we'll let this go for now. We're gonna circle back to it later. Both men probably know that he's caught in a lie, but just to be so subtle. I think that's the thing, though, because we didn't know Ray Winstone and we didn't know Ian McShane in 2000 when this came out. So we weren't really like, oh, look at how awesome these guys are. We just we really undermine these incredible performances of just nuance and just playing everything in very minimal amounts of dialogue and just texturally with the eyes, and they do everything. God damn, it's so fucking sublime.
And since you brought up that lie about Don calling from Heathrow, never has that annoyed me more than this viewing. Like, what a stupid fucking lie. Don Logan is not the kind of guy who's going to call you and let you know that he got in all right. You're not his grandmother.
I agree.
Like it's such a stupid lie, and it's clearly designed to make Teddy and everyone think that, like, yes, he made it across the pond, he made it over there, but you would have been so much better off just being like, I saw him get in the cab and that's the end of it, and just leave it at that. That's so much more believable.
I mean, did they plan it out like that? That's stupid. I completely agree. But I want to go back to Eric's point. You said something along the lines that Don Logan, the character himself, is kind of one note, or what did you said something about like that It's expected in a way. I can't remember how you said it. I just feel like the performance is, he's not a simple person. It's not a simple character. He's complex.
It's hard to criticize this character. We're talking about one of the best villains of the 2000s, but people don't act like this. Like he's just so bizarre. Like, so it's a little hard for me to just believe I'm watching his character, and it just seems kind of like a big performance. You know what I mean?
Well,
no, but he has the intimate moments. That's what I meant to say. There it is. That's what I forgot. Yes, he has intimate moments in the mirror when he's talking to himself, and he's having this introspective moment too.
Or when he asks Gal, "How is she? All right?" and Gal doesn't hear him. He's like, "Oh, I'm not going to fucking repeat it." He has these moments where he does expose himself. I agree.
Yeah,
you're
right, man.
So there's a little bit of both there too, but yes, you're right about Ian McShane. I never heard of him, never saw him. He just showed up in this movie to me, and I looked back in the past too. There wasn't anything I really would have caught him in. He kind of just got this new life because Deadwood was a few years after this too, and then he really took off.
I did want to say though, I think that Don is a big and maybe a little bit unbelievable character, but he's not a regular house guest. He's not a normal person. He's one of the like a guard dog. You know what I mean? Like he's clearly not someone that rose through the ranks of the criminal underworld by being a smart person, but by being violent and tenacious and unafraid. And so I think that he's super embarrassed by everything that's going on, because for one, he's mad at Gal because he expected Gal to just be like, yeah, okay, I'm a dumb puppy dog, I'll do whatever you tell me. And so he's mad at Gal for not, because he's worried that he's going to go back and tell people like, I couldn't get him to do it. It's going to make him look bad. And then he's also, of course, really worried about how he looks to Jackie, because it's all about Jackie Big Tits.
That's right. That when Gal says to Don, "That's not the reason you're here. You're really here because of Jackie. We all know it."
Unbelievable.
Let's be honest.
Repeat.
Real.
Yeah, he gets so pissed, and then he leaves. And the first time I watched this movie, I had to really, really think back to the first time I was in the shoes of the original viewing. I was like, "Oh wow, well, okay, it's over. He's not coming back." I do believe that's really how I felt. And then this whole exchange where we get to see Don outside of the element of these people that know him,
right,
acting in the world, and the way he acts, it shows you that yes, he's aggressive and tenacious and he'll do anything it takes, but he'll also verbally and with wit and play games with people to do whatever it takes. He accuses a steward of sexual assault that clearly didn't happen. I mean, that is so bogus. That's totally bogus. But he doesn't want to cause a fuss, and he doesn't want the person to lose their job. And he does it so cunningly. It is cunning, but it's also sick and twisted.
And homophobic. But his front bottom, his front bottom got touched. His front bottom.
His front bottom.
Part of me thinks that he might have use that as an excuse to go back and try again. Like he did that whole cigarette thing on purpose. To try to be contained and all that. But I don't remember thinking about that the first time I saw it.
No, I think you're right. I think that he didn't get kicked off the plane and then decided to go back. Like I think he was already planning to go back, and that's why he let himself get kicked off the plane.
So I was thinking, I asked you guys a scenario a couple weeks ago, and I'm thinking more about this now when I watch these movies. So I want to ask you guys more what you would do. So I had a thought about, remember how they hear Don's coming, and Dee Dee says to Gal, like, let's just leave. Let's go right now.
That'd be the long finger, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What do you think? I'm thinking that, if they had left, the job was on a time. It was on a schedule here. The job was going to be done on this weekend. They didn't really have time to go off and try to find these people. They could have got away with it, I feel like.
Okay. I think that's the point of the infamous dream sequence and the two, I don't want to go on too long, but you get two preclusions of the danger that's to come. The boulder, which is like you're fucked. It's impending doom. And the grill, which almost like lights his hand on fire. He's not going to be able to live peacefully in Spain. Something's going to happen. You're fucked. You've chosen this life. And then when Don comes, he has this dream about the bunny man, which we have to get into. And I mean, I want to hear you guys' opinions, but the bunny man for me represents his past life himself. And I don't know who plays him, but like, it kind of looks like Ray Winstone. Is that like his like super ego coming to say you can't run away from this. You're fucked. If you try to kill me with a flintlock rifle, I'll come here with an Uzi. But like, he can't escape the danger. It's not going away. Like you cannot run from this.
Yeah. So if we're unpacking the Bunny Man, I mean, I'm of two minds on it because
Donnie Darko.
Yeah. At the end of the film, he clearly seems like some sort of Satan figure who's greeted Don Logan in hell. That's how he seems.
Bizarre.
That's how he seems to me. But how he appears in the dream, being that they had the earlier event where he and H, which is not the letter H, but the word AITCH. That's new to me. H, the unintelligible H.
H.
Oh,
you gotta watch this movie with the subtitles on, by the way. Do not watch this movie without the subtitles.
Yep.
I'm fine with everybody I was fine with, but him, and he's completely just mudmouth. Anyways, so him and
he
Gal
died shortly after this.
That's a shame.
Well.
Still couldn't. I mean, like, still couldn't.
Doesn't change the fact he couldn't talk. Yeah,
I couldn't understand him, anyways. But so the two of them and the pool boy, they go hunting rabbits, and to me that the dream suggests something about prey turning back on you, and I think that he is like encouraging himself. I think that he is the prey. He's seeing that, like Don Logan is coming, and Don is a predator, but I can turn this around on him somehow and win. And that's what I think in the dream sequence. But then we get one more little visit with Bunny Man, and that's when Teddy Best, I keep on calling him Teddy Best because I thought his name was Teddy Best my whole life.
Yeah, I thought I heard that. I just let it go.
I keep on saying, well, that's what I always thought it was until this viewing. It's Teddy Bass. I'm sorry, Teddy Bass. So when Teddy Bass walks up to him at the restaurant for half a second, we see Bunny Man like with the gun. So I'm like, well, now I'm confused again. So I don't think Bunny Man really means much of anything.
I agree. I think it's just in the movie, and he wants to have some fantastical elements to fuck around with because he was a young director, and who cares? But you had just hit on a point that I had remembered. Hierarchical situations in this film. In the beginning of the movie, you have Gal and the boy, the Spanish boy, his pool boy. And Gal he's acting pretty kind of like he's the badass of the, the way he's talking in that first scene before the boulder rolls down the hill. Like, hey, boy, listen to me. Get me some beers. I'm paying, He's acting like he's a hot trot.
You know what I mean?
They
like
do have
yeah, they're definitely buddies. Like he's bossing him around, but you can tell that the kid's not taking him very seriously.
It's jokingly, but he's a sense of confidence around him. But then Don shows up. He's the submissive one, clearly to Don. And then Don's below Teddy, it feels like. There's just I just see all these hierarchical relationships. Yeah, and Stan too. It's in the fact that they don't kill him, that Gal survives. I don't know how I feel about it. The only part of this movie that I think kind of drags and is kind of annoying to me is the fact that the last part of it, he's like constantly fucking with him, but he's not saying anything to Gal about where's Don, where's he been, and letting Don be this awful black cloud that hangs over Gal while he's doing this job. But then the job's completed, all is well, and in the end, Teddy says that he didn't give a solitary fuck, quote unquote, about Don, so that's why he wasn't going to do anything to Gal.
He didn't care. He didn't care about Don. What he cares about is being lied to. What he cares.
Is that it?
What the fuck
is that what it is?
He cares about being lied to and someone thinking they could pull one over him. That's what he doesn't like. So he knows pretty early on that something's fishy with Don and all of this.
Sure.
But he needs Gal for the job. So he lets Gal do the job, but he's not going to let Gal just like do it easy. He's going to let him have this dark cloud hang over him. And when he tells him, let me drive you to the airport, like, as a viewer, you're like, fuck. And Gal, you see, is like, fuck. And and Teddy Bass even says, I got to make a stop. And you're like, fuck, it's
exactly.
Over. And Teddy Bass goes and kills a man and is ready to kill, right. And he's ready to kill Gal in the same spot. Cause why not? So he asks him, like, cause basically this is what he's going to do. Like, I will either drive you not to the airport, but to a train, or I will either drive you there or I will kill you based on your response. And he asks him what happened. And his answer is, I'm just not into this anymore. And that says everything, because right there, Teddy Bass is not an idiot. He knows that Don came and bullied him, and the Gal stood his ground because he's not in it anymore, and that he had to literally kill Don to say no to him. And Teddy knows all this. So he's like, well, fine, I'll let you live, but I'm not going to pay you for this fucking job. And when he asks for change for a 20, that's the coolest, most badass motherfucking move I can think of, to pay someone $10 for this job and ask for change. So funny.
Well, a couple things. You've hit on some great points, Travis. And if I were to add to them, I would say he considers Don collateral damage from a huge successful heist.
Yeah.
And two, this is my issue with the film. Why do they need Gal for this job? He's a legendary safecracker.
Yes.
Well, what is the job? They break into some stone in the spa bath. Is
they
there
drill
even
underwater?
A safe? Why do they need Gal?
He's not so specific.
I have a good answer, because Stan tells him, Stan, by the way, played by a man named Darky Smith. If you're a white man,
Darky Smith,
don't go by the name Darky. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, so Stan tells him very specifically. I think I even wrote it down. He says we're looking for, oh shit, where is it? Good boys, reliable, positive attitude. That's positive attitude. So on one hand, in Don's mind, that's Gal. He's a good boy. He's reliable. He served 9 years. And he's got a positive attitude, glorious gal, party gal. Like he thinks of Gal as
he's
Gal,
lovable. You're lovable,
right?
Gal.
I love you. Yeah. I'm a really good listener. That makes me die laughing. Don says he's a good listener. But in his mind, like, he thinks of Gal as the perfect person for this job. And on top of that, it's an excuse to go see Jackie, who he's been thinking about for 3 years. So that's it. Okay. Between those two things and the fact that he told probably people like, oh, I'll get Gal in on this. And you're right. I think that is actually a key point, that they could easily do it without Gal. That's literally part of the problem, is that Gal knows, like, I'm not worth it to you. Like, there's no need for him to do this, except for the fact that Don fucking wants him to and won't take no for an answer.
Yes. It doesn't drag. I just get kind of annoyed by the whole period there in the last 25 minutes with this. The heist is interesting to me. I'm down with that. I want to dive into it further and really absorb it. But the way Teddy's acting, and you described it very well. You're right. It makes total sense to me now that, yes, he would have killed him at Harry's place right after he shot Harry in the face. That makes sense.
They're at the back of your own fucking head. That's one of my favorite lines in the movie.
That's right.
It drags because the threat is gone. The threat from the second Don Logan appears on screen is Don Logan. If you take him out of the equation, which they do, and there's still 30 minutes left in the picture, you're gonna.
No, but
have
Teddy's
your
a threat, though.
their heads.
Yeah, Teddy's the threat. I mean, I agree that the third act is the weakest act. That it's the least intense act with Don out of the picture, and they cut back to him for a reason, because they're trying to keep that tension going, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that Teddy is actually more of a threat than Don. Well, maybe not more of a threat. Well, maybe, because Don is outnumbered in Spain. He's protected by the people that love him. Gal is, but in London, Gal's on his own, and none of those guys are going to help him. So he's actually, to me, he feels more at risk when he gets picked up for the to take him to the airport. When Teddy goes to take him to the airport at the end, even this time watching, even though I know the end, like, part of me is like, he's gonna fucking kill you now, Gal.
That's funny.
But yeah, it is the weakest part of the movie.
It is. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I'll leave that there. I just think that the movie has so much background to it. There's so many background stories about, like, Dee Dee's porno career and all these other things that are referenced.
You fucked hundreds.
Yeah, there's
he thinks that's really good on. He thinks that's a terrible thing to say to someone as he's dying.
Super 16s, she was queen. Like, what the fuck?
That's why we got a prequel series coming on AMC.
Yes,
Plus.
that's what. This is what I wanted to get to, because
Paramount
if it's
Plus.
happening, there's so much to dive into, because they allude to so many things in just one movie. That's not even that long. It's a pretty quick standard movie. Yeah, so I really hope that we get to see this show come to fruition, because I will chop it up. I will eat this up very, very quickly, and I'll be like appointment viewing for this. I'm that excited if it happens.
I'm interested, but it's not the same writers. Glazer's not involved either, and so I think it's really going to rest on the casting. You know what I mean? If they have somebody playing Don in particular, or well, really the three of them.
That's true.
It's really going to depend on the casting. So I'm going to go in kind of skeptical. I am interested that 20 years later they would choose to do this, though.
The writing set a great foundation for new writers too. That's the good news. I will say that everything that's been created allows them, like they could kind of fuck it up and it would still be good. But my point being is that I'm just fascinated by all these extra references that are thrown here and there and everywhere. And the fact that we see Don sitting in his undies when he first starts to tell the tale of how he hears about the job from a bloke who knows a bloke. Oh, you know this bloke.
Iconic.
Yeah, and he's just said that's what Don would do. I would assume Don would just be sitting around a lot, watching television in his underwear, waiting to be told what to do next. Because he's just, even though he's strong and can be annoying, he doesn't have agency. I don't think he has a lot of agency. I really don't.
I think, he seems to really like kowtow to Stan. I agree.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. And he wants to be liked by them too, so much as you reference, because that's why he'd be embarrassed to tell them that Gal wouldn't do the job. There's a lot of pressure for him socially, even though nobody else would give a fuck. So.
Yeah. And to go back to Don saying to Dee Dee that she fucked hundreds, this is like some of his last words. Like he's about to be removed from this earth, and he's gonna look at her and say, "You fucked hundreds." Like that's gonna bother her. He's gonna, "I fucked Jackie." You know what I mean? Like the shit that he has to say, and every time he says something to one of them, they come over to start beating on him more. But he's such a fucking child. He's so like the most emotionally stunted individual.
From the moments he appears on screen, he's trying to be so domineering. Like he tries to sit above everyone when he's on that stupid little fucking ottoman and he's perched like this fucking gargoyle, and he does this like insecure domination that is so obvious to everyone around him. It's it's
not cool.
Yeah, it's like questioning your opponent and just that all these textbook psychosis type of things he does to them.
Violence scares people, though. Like if there's a threat of physical harm, people will kowtow, even if it's obvious as hell.
Yeah, but what he does is he tries to convince you that he's right and you're wrong, and it's just the way he does it that's incredible. And anybody watching this episode or listening is gonna crucify us for not just like lauding this performance. And it is a great performance. I mean, we're talking about the dude who played the greatest pacifist of all time, Gandhi, playing the most sociopathic, insane villain of all time with Don Logan. How do you do that? I mean, it's an incredible performance.
Agreed. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about his insecurity of the character. Like so much of what he's doing is this unnecessary need to trump everybody and have control. Like, why are you swearing? I'm not swearing. But he swears all the time. But he just wants to like have that level of control. Like, I'll take a look around the place when I go to take a piss. You know, just like everything that he does is involved. Like it demands that he must like belittle you and assert his dominance. And you know that he doesn't do that with Teddy. He doesn't do that with Stan. He doesn't do that with people that he views as his superiors or his betters.
But everybody else with age. If you stand up and yell in my face, I'm gonna say, take this $100. I'll pay for your meal. That'll shut you up and make me the better person.
That's that's the downfall of a lot of characters. There's a lot of ego for every one of the characters except Gal, I would say. But all these other guys, Harry, the bank guy, the guy who runs that place, he knows, they make it clear that everybody knows who Teddy Bass is. And Harry knows who Teddy Bass is, intimately, by the way, in a rousing shower scene.
I love that scene so much, actually.
I do too.
Like, it's shot so well. And like, here he is, like, this tough, they're introducing Mr. Black Magic. We're supposed to like be so like, this guy is scary, but we see him drooling as he's fucked in the ass. And then it literally opens a door for him, this huge door. And you're like, oh, that's why he did that.
And that is the scariest guy. I mean, Don Logan's terrifying, but as you said, Teddy Bass is one of the scariest, if not the scariest and most frightening dude in this whole universe. And yet we see him in a vulnerable state, having sex and being fucked by another man in a very, very awesomely shot scene that's done well. Very, very well. Kudos to the director on that one. And then you would think like, oh, well, this guy, I'm not really afraid of this guy, but it doesn't. This guy
No, it
scares
doesn't
the
matter at
fuck
all.
out of you.
Yeah.
Like you just know. To me, the people who are the most intimidating are the people who will literally do anything, because it's not made clear whether or not he's a bisexual or he's gay or whatever he is. So we don't know. I mean, he could be, and this is his thing too. So he was happy to do it. But if he wasn't too, it just shows me this guy will do anything it takes to get anything he wants at any price. And that kind of person really freaks me out.
There's always a fucking way. But the only thing that kind of rubs me a little bit wrong about that is I feel like if he robbed the place, well, maybe he has not a lot of ego either. Because part of me is like, well, why not wait until Harry knows that you've robbed him before killing him so that you can have that victory over him? But he doesn't seem to care about that. He just wants him. But then why not? I guess once they've robbed the place, then he can kill him. I don't know. I don't really fully
just
understand
because you're
that.
bisexual doesn't mean you're unpredictable in your daily acts, especially your professional acts. I don't know. That kind of seemed tossed into me to be. I think you could equate the two.
Oh, with Harry or with Teddy? I'm not
with Teddy.
Oh, but I think that's the point. We don't really know if he actually is bisexual or not. We it's established that Harry is, but Teddy, I kind of suspect is straight, and that he's doing this to get entry into Harry's life. I mean, literally, he just wants to see the inside of the vault and drop a pack of cigarettes in there so he can scope it out. I don't think that he's got a gay bone in his body.
Wanking, spanking, camcorders.
the Borgie.
Yeah, the Borgie.
I love that. Everyone's fucking awesome. Bored to tears.
The bored orgy. I love it. Okay. Any other final thoughts? Any notes you wrote down you wanted to squeeze in before we call this a day?
What's going on with the score? I don't know anything about British punk. And who are these composers? Uncle and like Mike? Who are these guys?
Never heard of any of them, but I think the score gives it such like this constant, like unceasing kinetic energy. Like the movie just never lets you rest. And so much of it is because of this repetitive kind of techno score, which I usually would not be on board with at all, but I think it works really good with this movie.
But then you got classical, like big
Stranglers.
band orchestral stuff. Yeah, you got the Strangles there, but then they're like in heaven before Don shows up. Yeah,
that's the whole point. You nailed it. It doesn't start to get frenetic until Don shows up, and then your fucking blood pressure skyrockets. And that's exactly what Glazer is trying to do.
That first shot of the back of his head and ears walking in the airport, and the music changes there.
Right. It's like Mancini for the first part of the movie, and then and Martin.
Yep,
and then
Jackie Treehorn's Pleasure Palace.
Right. And then it's like dun 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 dun. It just that was fucking like zombie for some reason.
Thunder Kiss 65? All right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. But which I think is our second reference to that song in the last 3 episodes or so. But but yeah, no, I actually really like the soundtrack because I think it just really drives the movie.
Yeah, I'd never heard that Strangler song until I saw this movie, and now it's like I see it in so many more pieces of art and creative work since then. So now it's standard issue. Okay. Travis, you picked this movie. Why don't you lead us off, buddy?
It absolutely still holds up as I figured that it would. I was really glad to finally revisit it with you guys. It's funny to me, Eric, that you'd only seen it once. You make these assumptions about people because all of us have seen this movie so many times. I just kind of presumed, and I don't know why. But I'm glad that you got a second revisit with it as well that you maybe wouldn't have taken otherwise. Jonathan Glazer, I'm looking forward to the next thing that he does. I'm thankful for this movie and that it showed us a whole nother side to Ben Kingsley and that it really introduced us to Winstone and McShane in a way that we hadn't, as at least in American audiences, embraced them yet. And yeah, this movie is one of the most quotable movies I can think of. I mean, this, Big Lebowski, not many others. Some of the most quotable films I can possibly rank. I mean, just almost every line in this movie. I fucked that. So I'll leave it at that. You'll be there. The Grosvenor. Yes, Roundtree.
Friday, the Grosvenor, you'll be there.
Yes, Roundtree. All right, well said, sir. I'll go next. Yeah, this movie totally holds up. I love this movie. Always will. I don't see how it could change and turn on me. I guess people change and I change. I get older. Maturation process can be complicated. It can lead to new ground, but it's just too I didn't do a single other thing while I watched this movie. Like usually I'll be watching the movie and maybe doing some internet stuff here or whatever. I was stuck on the film. As soon as I turned it on, I was just staring at the screen, sucked in. And like an hour and 10 minutes had gone by. Like, oh my God, I've just been staring at the screen, focused entirely on the film.
That's what movie watching is like.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I've seen it before. That's what's funny. I've seen it so many times, but it was like the first time I saw it, which really stuck out to me, that the movie had an effect on me to this day. So I think that says a lot about how impressive this movie is. Casting, from the dialogue to all the escapes we see. I mean, Spain looks gorgeous, and that area is beautiful. I'd love to go to that villa and the two hearts in the swimming pool. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to see and hear, and this movie absolutely holds up. But if you don't think it holds up, please reach out to me, let me know, and tell me why, because I would like to hear the reasons. Maybe enlighten me a little bit. I just don't see it.
Well, let's talk to Eric. Maybe he doesn't think it holds up. Let's find out.
Okay, that's right. Yes, please do.
The film's 88 minutes, and there's not an ounce of fat on it. The characters are written so dynamically, man. You've got a villain for the ages, okay? And you've got what may be considered an anti-hero in the Ray Winstone character that doesn't get enough credit, man. I sat there watching this, and I'm applauding this performance by Ben Kingsley. Jesus, Gandhi is this fucking psycho. But I'm looking at this tender, romantic performance about a man who just wants to appreciate a woman regardless of her past, and that phone call. I love you like a fucking lion loves our cubs.
Or like a whatever. I love that. I love that part.
Or whatever. It's beautiful, man. And it's about people, regardless of their history, man. Don't let yourself ever be defined by your history. And this movie encapsulates that thought in a beautiful way. It doesn't spend so much time on this whole fucking Ocean's 12 heist because it doesn't need to. Because Gal doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He does the job. And the movie is about...
Do
it. Okay, it holds up because it's amazing. You're telling me this is from a first-time filmmaker? This is one of the best first-time features any director has ever made. The movie is sublime. It's so gorgeous. Anyone that has not seen it, I totally encourage you to watch it, man. Incredible. Love it.
Yeah, if it's been a while, it's time to revisit. It still holds up really well. And that's three of us. If it's been a while, yeah.
Been a while.
It's been a while. Let's all
Everyone's got to do it.
Yep. But yeah, fucking great movie. Glad that we all agree still 22 years later.
Mm-hmm.
God, has it been that long?
Great choice, Travis. We'll never get to do this again. This is our Sexy Beast episode. It's done now, and we can never go back. But you can always go back and rewatch this anytime you want, or re-listen, or listen for the first time. But if you're hearing this now at the end of the episode, it would probably mean it would be a re-listen, so never mind. Or a rewatch. Right. Thank you for being connected to the show, guys. We love having you here. Send them an iPod at protonmail.com. Reach out to us, connect with us. 5-star reviews on your preferred podcast platform. That would be amazing. Eric Branstrom, you are now up for episode 98 next week, which is a couple away from 100, which is going to be our big show. We got people lined up. We're going to have special guests. It's going to be a big one. But what are we doing next week?
It's going to be a controversial pick, but we take risk here at the Cinema 9 podcast. All right.
Do we?
I don't know how this is going to go over. Could go one way, could go another. I'm going to put it out there, man. Going back to 2000. Damn,
same year?
I've been worrying about this all day.
Do it.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you, Don.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Jesus Christ, Michael. Okay, it's a movie that got a lot of talk back in the day, especially from the filmmaking team behind it. People were like, what the fuck? You're doing this next?
Team.
And yeah, they did do it. And it got a big response and people enjoyed it. But will we, 22 years later, a Curtis Hanson film, 8 Mile.
Oh, that's 2002, by the way. But okay.
It's 2000.
Okay. 8 Mile. We're doing 8 Mile. Cool. That's a good call. I think this is a great choice.
Is it
Especially, it is 2002. Yeah.
Oh,
but
sorry.
either way.
2002.
Yeah, it was after Wonder Boys. That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh, my bad.
All right.
Just follow up to Wonder Boys. Was
Yeah,
we did
Eight
Wonder
Mile.
Boys one of our
We're gonna
first
check
episodes.
out.
This is our second Curtis Hanson episode.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. This is a good call. I like this. I think I expect this to be one of our most downloaded episodes. There's a lot of people love 8 Mile. Eminem is massive.
Maybe I'm maybe infused by our 224 downloads for the Lady Killers, and I'm trying to play to the crowd, win the crowd, win your freedom. As
Tell you,
Maximus said.
people out there, I told you this before. Every time I clicked on a scene to download it for the show for audio last week, there was all these comments and people say I love this movie. I love it. This movie's so funny. It's so funny. They said it.
Bizarre. Yeah. Well, there it is.
Yeah. All right. 8 Mile, Travis. What do you say?
All right.
I assume you've seen 8 Mile, right? We've all seen 8 Mile.
Yeah, I saw it once.
Okay, saw it once. There it is. Well, you're going to see it twice next week. By then, we'll have our opinion on 8 Mile starring Eminem and the dearly departed Brittany Murphy. Rest in power. And until then, that's the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all the comments, too. Matt Wilson and everybody. For Travis Roy, Eric Bradshaw, Michael Govier, we'll catch you next time.
Hairdressers are shitting themselves.